Привет! This is a series of Russian video lessons for beginners. I already have a playlist with such lessons right here. Check out the playlist if you are a beginner in Russian. In the last lesson we talked about numbers and hopefully learned them. Today you will learn how to talk about age. You might be surprised that the whole lesson is dedicated to this topic, but in reality there are many nuances. Let's start with which form of the word should be used after numbers. But first, let's look at the examples. Мне 1 год. Мне 2 года. Мне 10 лет. You can see that the word год changes its form and even turns into a completely different looking word, лет. Let's figure out what's going on here. So, after the number 1, один, we use the word год or any other noun in the nominative singular form. 1 год. Одна подруга. Одно окно. Одни очки. If you are wondering why the number 1 has so many forms, check out the previous lesson, lesson number 23. After the numbers 2, 3 and 4, 2, 3, 4, we use the word in the genitive singular form. This is usually a bit strange for Russian learners. Yes, 2 objects already mean plural, but grammar is grammar. You have to use the singular form here. 2 года or 2 подруги. 3 года. 4 года. You remember that number 2, 2, has 2 forms, one for masculine and neuter nouns and one for feminine nouns. And I explained how to put a word into the genitive singular in this video. Let's continue. After the numbers from 5 to 20, we use the genitive plural form. 5 лет, 6 лет, 7 лет, and so on. Yes, the genitive plural form of год is not obvious, but you need to memorize it. It's a very important word and frequently used word. Of course, not all words completely change in the genitive plural, but this is quite a tricky part of grammar, because nouns change according to different patterns. However, if you need a general simple guideline, remember this. A word ending in a consonant gets the ending of. For example, час, часов. A word ending in a loses the a. Минута, минут. Now back to talking about age. So you've memorized the 3 forms: год, года, лет. In a question, after сколько, we use the form лет. Сколько тебе лет? Мне 25 лет. This is an informal question. Formally, we ask сколько вам лет? Now let's talk about the words тебе, мне and вам. These are the dative case forms of the pronouns ты, я and вы. Let's recall all the personal pronouns in the dative case. Я, мне, ты, тебе, он, ему, она, ей, оно, ему, мы, нам, вы, вам, они, им. We also use the dative case pronouns with the word нравится. Мне нравится, тебе нравится, and so on. This is just a small reminder if, like me, you enjoy structuring knowledge. Now I want to draw your attention to one nuance. Which form of the word год will you use here? correct, год. And here, correct, года. And here, correct, лет. And here, correct, лет. Now, which form will you use here? Correct, год. Because after one, we use the word год. And here, correct, года. And here, correct, лет. But what about this one? Correct, лет. It doesn't matter that the second number is 1. From 1 to 20 we use лет. What about this sentence? Correct, лет. I hope that after watching this lesson you no longer have questions about why word changes after numbers, how it changes, and how to talk about age in Russian. Of course, you can always answer the question «Сколько тебе лет?» briefly, like «Мне 30». But in my experience, people who learn Russian are very determined and not afraid of challenges, so I felt it was important to explain this in detail. In this lesson, I also talked about grammar, cases, and numbers. If your approach to language learning is not to study grammar, but just to memorize patterns like 1 год, 2 года, 5 лет, that's perfectly fine. Learn in a way that is comfortable for you, and I'm happy if I can help you. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video. Пока-пока.